Welcome back. Still on the case of cryptic pregnancy. Now, there have been cases of babies developing outside the womb. When I first heard it, I thought it was a joke. No way, it can't be. I had to research and I found that yes, there have been rare cases. Now, this is rarer than the rare case of rare cases of 1 out of 2,500 pregnant people who will carry to the birth without knowing that they are carrying. The cases of babies developing outside the womb is rarer. So it is not every cryptic pregnancy that you hear that you now associate with babies developing outside the womb. Hello. Cryptic pregnancy is simple to understand. Since this lady is pregnant, she's not aware that she's pregnant. That is all about cryptic pregnancy. Now, there are things that determine that, causes and things that make that possible. Okay? So, in the case where a baby is developing outside the womb, it is not common. It is not even as common as 1 out of 2,500 people be women. Okay? So, it is not like that. In number one case, it is like ectopic pregnancy, for instance. This, I'm talking about cases where babies are developing outside the womb. In ectopic pregnancy, a baby is developing inside where? The tube, the fallopian tube. Now, the baby has not gotten to where it is supposed to be. The fertilized egg is wrapped in a structure that can grow for several weeks outside the uterus. And then that structure usually bursts within 6 to 16 weeks, causing severe bleeding. If you have met anyone that has gone through ectopic pregnancy, they will tell you the bleeding not be today. My mom had it, and I was old enough, not old enough, but I was big enough to understand, to see. I didn't understand. Let me not say I understood. I didn't understand what was happening. I just knew my mom was going through a miscarriage. So I was mopping blood, I was washing blood. It was terrible and terrifying for me at the age. I was a teenager. So yes, it does happen. But has there been any rare case of somebody? Because when an ectopic pregnancy is diagnosed, doctors always tell the carrier to terminate the pregnancy immediately. And you are most likely going to lose your fallopian tube. I don't know if there has been any exercise, because the fallopian tube is really very slim, very thin. So I don't know if there has been any exercise where they extracted or removed the fetus without damaging the fallopian tube. I don't know. But I know that it comes with losing one fallopian tube. Whenever the baby is attached, the egg fertilized and then the thing decided to stay there. But there has been one case I have researched so far. I don't know about other cases where a baby actually developed to 32 weeks and was brought out. Is it 38? No, 38 weeks and was brought out. The person that, the baby's name is Baby Dogger, somewhere in Australia. Is a miracle. Till tomorrow it's said as a medical miracle. Okay, so that is number one. Ectopic pregnancy, baby developing outside the womb. Number two, fetal viability. Fetal viability, it is the ability for the baby to survive outside the womb. This is a very rare case, my people. It is a very rare case, and it's not something that you do. The mother had nothing to do with it. The father had nothing to do with it. The sperm did not decide, oh, I'm going to fly east or fly west. Things just happen inside, and then the baby develops outside the womb. So there has been a case, in a case like this, like I said, most times medical tests like blood and urine will not show that the person is pregnant. But how do you determine that this person is pregnant? It is the heartbeat. Yes, they can detect it. It is a heartbeat. Because sometimes people tell you that there's no way of knowing that you're pregnant. If you suspect and you go for the heartbeat, it's just that most people who are not aware that they are not aware. Duh. So that sounds funny. Yes, but they are not aware. So they are not aware that they are not aware. So they move on. They don't go for anything. And if anybody suspects, they just do the PT. It doesn't show that they are pregnant. They move on. If they want to stretch themselves, they say, okay, let's just do blood, and they do the blood. It doesn't still show. You move on. Hardly would you see someone that goes to the hospital and says, doctor, come and check if there's a heartbeat. They hardly do that. But it's there because there's a human in there. They will find it. So if someone is telling you that you're pregnant and it's cryptic pregnancy and everything else has failed, go for the heartbeat, please. I'm sure the doctors should be able to find it if it is there, right? So fertile viability, it is when the baby is developing outside the womb. There is a case, I know. There have been other cases, I think, maybe, but there's one I read about. Her name is Nicolette Soto. Nicolette Soto. I said I went on to research this thing. So in her own case, the baby was surrounded by a thick wall of membrane and muscle. So her pregnancy was actually up to 32 weeks. This lady and her boyfriend were aware. The doctors told her this pregnancy is developing outside the womb, because in this case, the placenta had not finished attaching itself or couldn't properly attach itself in the uterus, but it was hanging outside. And somehow, like they said, it was surrounded by a thick wall of membrane and muscles, and these things held the placenta attached to the uterus from outside. This baby stayed in there. So you find out that the baby is chilling in the in the uterus, and the person carrying does not even know. Tests don't detect. All of those things are just saying negative, 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 and the person is, you know, carrying the pregnancy. So these are the things that go with cryptic pregnancy. Now, there are some cases of cryptic pregnancy where the baby has been said to exist or develop outside the womb. You may have heard that before, because that's what most I don't know what to call them. That's the story we have. Let me leave it at that until I get there. Most of the time, that is what we hear in Nigeria, that the baby is existing outside the womb. And for you, you keep wondering, what do they mean outside the womb? Is the baby dropped in my bowel just like that? Will I cough out the baby? And they say the baby is at the back. You can't see the baby, is by the side. The baby is by the side, or maybe at the back, or inside my mouth. Sorry, I'm being funny. But we hear a lot of things about this thing. So I'm going to come back with more.